Yeah, Tony McCoy obviously is a top man to keep on your side as a jockey. What about a trainer? Well, here at William Hill, we've got him odds on to be champion. 7 winners at last year's Cheltenham Festival. It is Nicky Henderson. Nicky, it's always exciting times this time of the year, but a quick reflection. 7 winners at the Cheltenham Festival. What a season last year was.
It was a great year. I mean, I think, across the board they were good in all sort of departments, if you like. And I think the nice thing was the young horses were very good as well. And if anything didn't quite go right, it was in the sort of the long run binocular department. You thought would probably be your older brigade that would help things along, and they just sort of came up a bit short on the day, whereas the youngsters were really good.
Long run, is there a chance that his Gold Cup win maybe just took that much out of him? It might take him last season to get over it, and we might see him back this season. That's what you're hoping?
I do. He's very, very well at the moment, certainly. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think we ever quite saw him. We've sort of tried to take the whole season apart, time and time again. The only thing I'd go back and say, he just got a horribly hard time at Haydock, first time out, and whether that just sort of, Corto was, he was well ready for it that day, and he was going to, he just dished it out, and he just gave us such a terrible thumping. I think the horse just had a hard race first time, and it just took him a bit of time to get over that, and he's had a good holiday. He looks really well.
So you're happy to what would his plans be this season?
Well, I mean, we always said it didn't think Haydock suited him, but I think it was Corto more than anything else. Yeah. The race is set up there for those sort of horses, and that's really where he ought to be going. I suspect we'll start back there at Haydock.
And then William Hill King George?
And then the William Hill King George. That's definitely the plan. He might not be on his own going there, but that's definitely where we're aiming for.
Yeah, you've been a head scratching. The Riverside Theatre, there's a few that could line up there.
Riverside would definitely go there. Yeah. We're even sort of thinking of going straight there. He's been terribly good fresh every year. And his first run seems to be, he won the Ascot race 2 years running. I mean, that was it. That was a whole year off when he came back and won that, and he was very, very impressive. So you could easily see him waiting all the way until Boxing Day.
And going there.
Yeah, and just coming in very, very fresh. We have sort of talked about it and thought about doing it that way. And yet there might be some others lurking in there as well, because I think you're going to have to see Finnion's Rainbow go up in trip. And we know he got the 2.5 very well at Aintree, and at the moment you'd be sort of saying, we might start at 2.5, but I suspect we'll be having a look at 3 come Boxing Day.
It was great for Mr. Buckley to get that Cheltenham win.
It was. I mean, he always deserves one. Yeah. He's put a lot into it, and he's had some. We've had some good days, but something like that's very special.
Champion hurdle, there's no man knows better. Sea Lane 3 times, Punjabi, binocular. Can Darlan step up to the plate?
The champion hurdlers were just sort of thinking with a little bit at the moment. Darlan, certainly, the plan is to stay over hurdles, but JP's got binocular as well. So, I mean, I just utterly refuse to give up on binocular. I don't think things went right as we would have liked it in the champion hurdle. He looked very good at Wincanton. Just before it is his prep race, he really looked to be himself. We thought he was. I thought he was in outstanding form, but he didn't. In fairness, he wasn't just right after it as well. So, maybe something was. He was feeling something. I don't know.
Where will he go? Binocular, Darlan? Will he?
Well, binocular will be back for the Christmas hurdle, which I would think where he'd start. So whether Darlan sort of switches roles, and binocular had always started in the fighting fifth, so I would suspect that Darlan might come into that. Trouble is, the Beulah's so close to Christmas that it doesn't really work as a race. Great Wood's a handicap. It might let that lets the novices in with a little bit of a chance. We've just got to see where Grand Duetta would be very disappointed if he doesn't come back into the equation. He sadly had a bit of a problem only 3 weeks before the champion hurdle, which was a hind leg injury that would have been perfectly right 3 weeks later, but it wasn't going to get him to Cheltenham. And sadly, Spirit Sun's out of action and will be out certainly for, he has a major problem, unfortunately, but he's making progress anyway.
Chasers, Simon Sigg, he's winner for point to point. He's an exceptional talent.
Again, no great decision has been made. I mean, certainly, I cannot at this stage say that he's not going to go champion hurdle route.
Right.
But we have schooled him over fences. We've had a little look, and that first peep just sort of indicated to Barry and I have discussed it with Ronnie, that really we ought to be taking the chasing route with him.
Because he was good?
He'd won a point to point, but this is no 3 mile point to pointer. Do you know what I mean? He is a very, very sharp horse. We went the 2.5 mile route, but as I think you know, that I was umming and ahhing whether to go 2 or 2.5. I don't think the result would have been any difference. He would have. I'm therefore saying that he would have beaten Darlan at 2 last year. Cinders and Ashes beat Darlan anyway, but I would have expected Simon Sigg to have won either race, whichever way he'd gone. In fairness, I know Barry felt after Aintree that he was a, you could make him into a champion hurdle horse very easily, but we've thought about it, and I think at the end of the day, it's sort of gone 60-40 in favour of chasing at the moment. But we don't have to decide, and we can certainly start over fences. There's nothing to stop him coming back to hurdles if it wasn't working really well.
You've got so much talent. Sprinter Sacre, what an exceptional season he had last year.
He was exciting. I think everybody enjoyed watching him. Well, that's everybody bar me. I find it frightening. He's just too. He's too good for his own good, if you know what I mean. He's an awful show off, and he loves to. He plays to a crowd.
Is there a bit of remittance man in him?
Well, there is and there isn't. I mean, their jumping is similar because but they're two completely different horses. One was a little wiry, very narrow little rubber ball that just bounced lived on nervous energy. This is the most beautiful, great, big, strapping chaser. And chasing was always what he was going to do. He ran a good race when he was 3rd in the Supreme the year before, but it was only a matter of time before he had to go chasing. There was no question of him staying over hurdles.
Where will we see him? Tingle Creek?
Yeah, there's quite a nice race for him at the Paddy Power meeting, which he could easily take it that would fit in before the Tingle Creek. And I'd probably say I'd quite like to get a run, and you go Tingle Creek, Victor Chandler. You could go to Newbury on the way if you wanted another run. You'd definitely stay over 2 miles. I'd be amazed if he wants any more than that, because it's hard enough to get a lead. I mean, last year it was difficult to get a lead anywhere for him, because he was just carrying himself and jumping his way there the whole time. This year, in fairness, there is a horse that's going to give him a lead, and it's going to be exciting stuff. And the programme is such that it's only going to dictate they're going to meet in the Tingle Creek, and that's going to be it.
Exciting.
That'll be a race to go and watch, that's for sure. It'll be scary stuff, because they'll be going awful quick.
All this strength and depth you've got, William Hill make you short price favourite to be champion trainer, so close last year. How important will that be?
You say that it's not the important part of the season. The main thing is to get all these horses doing the right thing, and if that so happens, sure, it'd be great. It's been a while, and it would sort of a big historically long gap, I should think, for any idiot to come back and do it again since I think it was about 85, 86. So of course it'd be nice for everybody. It would just reward for everybody on the squad, but it's not the priority. The priority is just to hope that we can keep them all fit and sound and healthy, and get them to the right place at the right time. And okay, we all know March is probably the priority for most of them, but as you say, then you've got the Christmas festival there, which is great. And I mean that very often gives you the first. That's the climax of the first half of the season that tells us where we are. And the champion hurdle horses are going to know where they are. The Gold Cup horses are going to come out of the King George and tell us where they are. And so, as you say, Kempton is a vital part of it, because there's some races there that are going to give us a lot of clues.
You talk March is a long way away. What about April? Dare I say it, you haven't many runners, but the Grand National has eluded you. Something like Burton Port, Shakalaka Boom Boom. How important would that be to knock off the
Well, that would be the nice thing to do. That surely would. I mean, you know, it's a very special race. We've tried for long and hard enough. We've been second a couple of times. And Shakalaka ran a fantastic race last year. We have got 2 or 3, I hope, that might slot into it this year if all goes well. But yeah, that is. I mean, that would, in a funny way, you'd love to win that. I mean, it would be sad to sort of go out whenever that's going to be. I mean, it's not in the near future, I can assure you, without a Grand National. But it is one of those races that's rather harder to sort of, if you come across the right horse for it and that goes your way on the day, that's fine. But it should do, yeah.
Look, a massive amount of talent here. Give us the William Hill hunters, give us a young horse. What's the exciting horse that you're looking forward to, the less sexy horse we haven't seen maybe?
I don't know, the bumper horses were good last year. I hope the novice chasers, I mean obviously if you go novice chasing, Simon Sigg would be the one. I do like Captain Conan, I think he could be a very good horse. I mean he was good over hurdles. Of the bumper horses last year, there were 2 or 3 that sort of look as if should be pretty good at this sort of thing. There was a fellow called My Tent or Yours who was second in the Aintree bumper and second in the Dogster Sales bumper as well, so he only just missed out on that. Snake Eyes, he's a nice horse that should have won a bumper, €100,000 bumper in Ireland, but things just went a bit wrong, but he's very nice. They're the sort of hidden ones. There are a few new people as well, but you know, you just like to see the young ones keep coming through. If the bumper horses can translate into sort of being top grade 1 novice hurdlers, those novice hurdlers from last year become top class novice chasers, and then the old boys, you know, the Riversides and Long Runs and Finians.
Bobsworth we haven't mentioned.
Bobsworth he's very much but you see, he's amazing, Bobsworth. That's exactly him. You sort of forget he's even here. He's that sort of person. You wouldn't know he was there every morning. He doesn't do anything very flashy. He doesn't, you know, where Sprinter Sacras and the Long Runs come out, and you know, it's all look at me. I'm a good-looking film star sort of thing. Bob just comes out every morning, gets his work done, and goes back to bed. There's absolutely nothing complicated about him at all. In fairness, I would have to say, I'd have to say from the King George point of view, I suspect that he's a better horse going left than right, and I'm not sure that Kempton's possibly his track anyway. I could see him, I would think he probably started in the Hennessy, but I think he might be sidestepping the King George, in fairness. And I mean, if we had Long Run, Riverside and Finians, I think that'll do us probably.
From everyone here at William Hill, we wish you a very, very productive season.
Thank you very much.